Bro, you want me to tell you the truth, man? I set my alarm clock for like 2:15. I said, I can't miss my show, man. I had to be on with you, bro.
Well, congratulations on the show. We're enjoying it, and obviously you guys look like you're having a lot of fun over there on Breakfast on Broad.
I'll tell you what, man. I keep telling them, don't tell anybody, but I can't believe they pay me for it, man. I get to talk football, be around two pretty girls, and a guy like, Rob that just, it's just encyclopedia of knowledge, man.
Well, it's a lot of fun to have some local stuff in the morning there from you guys, but let's take a look at some of the things that are going on for our listeners out there at Barrett. And obviously, the schedule was released today. You played in the NFL. When you were a player, did you look forward to the schedule coming out? Was it a big deal for you guys? Is that something you paid attention to?
Well, we wouldn't necessarily as a big deal, but we would go in there and look and see where we were going, see what division we would be going up against, and kind of see what the format was for the year. The first thing we really look at is the bye week. That's the biggest thing. The first game and the bye week are the two most important things we look for.
So bye week here for the Eagles, week number 8, right in the middle. Where do you prefer it as a player?
Oh, man, that's perfect, man. Especially with how the Eagles' schedule is going, it's perfect right there in the middle. The first 7 games, they could easily be 7-0. If you look at their schedule, the strength of schedule, the amount of traveling they have to do is not bad. So if you really look at it, they don't have to fly much. I mean, they'll probably take the train twice and take the bus once, considering the fact that, they got to go to Washington. They got to go to, the Giants and the Jets, So it really works out perfect for them because, it's a lot more comfortable riding on a train. It's big seats and, really comfortable for players. We love that aspect of it. And then on a bus, it's usually like 2 hours up the road. So it doesn't really take a toll on you like it does with flying. You have to go through, security, get on a plane, fly, get off the plane, So you don't have to go through the rigmaroles of flying. So, the way their schedule worked out, it works out perfect for them. And Chip Kelly better, thank to God that he got the schedule he got this year.
Yeah, I was going to say, I saw a stat there that last year the Eagles traveled almost 18,000 miles. This year, under 7,000 miles. You would think that's, it's like, all right, who cares? You're traveling, you just travel. That's pretty significant as a player, though, it sounds like.
Oh, it's definitely significant. That's huge, because, a lot of people don't understand flying and, you're in hotels all the time and, different cities. You enjoy the aspect of it, but like halfway through the year, you're like, oh, here we go again. So, it's definitely a leg up for Chip Kelly and the Eagles, and, they're definitely in a great situation this year.
Barrett Brooks, Breakfast on Broad, Comcast channel, with us here on 97.3. And, of course, Barrett played in the NFL, won a Super Bowl. What do you think about the 6 primetime games, 5 of which are on either Monday, Sunday, or Saturday night, plus the Thanksgiving Day game? I know you guys are a creature of habit. Is that something that you don't like, playing 6 primetime games or 6 games off of your normal Sunday at 1 o'clock?
Well, I'm going to tell you the truth, man. It's really a tribute to, Chip Kelly and his star power. And really, that's really the major emphasis what the NFL is trying to show people. Usually with a team, it's the quarterback position that's the star of the team, usually the face of the team. Well, hey, Chip Kelly has drawn a lot of people and made Philadelphia really some national media just because the dynamic person that he is and the moves he's making in Philadelphia. So it's like everybody in the country wants to see what Chip's doing, and you can tell by the schedule that, they want to know and they want to see what he's doing.
Barrett, you're right about that. I was talking about that. If you don't think the NFL is liking what the Eagles are doing or believing in Chip Kelly, they don't put him on TV that many times if they don't think what he's doing is going to work here. But what was your reaction when you saw Chip decide to bring Tim Tebow in for a workout and potentially bring him into training camp, compete for most likely that number 3 spot?
Well, the number 3 aspect of it is it makes sense in the aspect that, he doesn't think Matt Barkley's going to be anybody very special. He doesn't feel as though he's going to do anything for this team. So why keep him around? He doesn't think that he can produce what he wants on the field. So of course he's going to try to get rid of him. He shopped him around. There was no interest. So he brought in Tebow, I guess, to see if he can kind of nurture him and see how he can make him progress as a player. But I don't understand, if New England couldn't do it, I can't see anybody else do it. Belichick couldn't take him under his wing and make him a player. I don't think I can't see why Chip would try to do it.
I want to get into a couple of the quirks of this schedule and get your take on it, Barrett. Number one, you mentioned the bye week right in the middle of the year there. Then they play at Dallas. How much of an advantage is that for a player when you get all that extra preparation? Is that just something that media people say, well, you get all that extra time? Or is that a legitimate advantage when you can prepare for 2 weeks to get ready for a division team?
Well, it will definitely be an advantage with Chip because Chip takes and stretches the boundaries of how much time he can have with his players all the time, I mean, the way everything's set up in the NFL, not by rule, but just by how people have done it in the NFL for a long time is, you play the game on Sunday. Monday, you usually go, you run, you watch the film, and, get your little lifting in. And then Tuesday's your day off. Well, Chip totally changed that around. They're off on, play Sunday, they're off on Monday. Then they practice on Tuesday, which is totally out of the norm for many of the teams, And then also, you go through regular practices on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then on Saturday, it's just a walkthrough. Well, Chip's Saturday workouts is actually a run-through because they do everything with the same tempo they would try to do it in the game, and they're running, they're really breaking a sweat. So, it was a lot of stuff, said about Williams when he said about practice and his legs were dead. But there might be some legitimate gripes about it. The players aren't saying, he might have just been the iceberg cap to really a bigger story inside that locker room because, I mean, as an older player, you can't do as much as these younger players can. And I think Chip is really going to the well and really give them a little more than they probably do need as a team. All
right, Barrett, another interesting part of the schedule, Thanksgiving, they play at Detroit. Do the players like playing on Thanksgiving?
You know what? I did something on the show about that today, and from a player standpoint, it is not looked upon as something very favorable. I mean, everybody's watching. It's Thanksgiving game, so we like that aspect of it. But as a player, man for man, it's not as cool because you're away from your family, especially when you're the away team, as the Eagles are going to Detroit. If they're the night before, they're in a hotel. And then the biggest thing is that means you have to weigh in the day you fly out. You can't really go in and eat a bunch of turkey and stuff because, I mean, if you don't understand it, it's $989 for each pound you're overweight. So you eat all that turkey and stuff and stuffing and all that, gravy and mashed potatoes, man. It might cost you a little bit in the end. So it could be up to like a $3,000, $4,000 fine or $3,000, $400,000 drumstick from a turkey.
Barrett Brooks with us here, giving you some inside stuff that you may not have been aware of. Great stuff there. They play on Thanksgiving, but do you like where New England, if you're going to play New England, how about getting a couple of extra days? You play Thanksgiving, and then you have to go to New England, but you get that extra couple of days of rest. If you're going to play New England, is that the perfect time?
I would say it would be, just because, it puts you in a position where I think a lot of teams are going to look past what Chip is doing, but it gives you a little more time to focus on playing against the Super Bowl champion, try to knock them off their person. And you know what? I'm going to tell you the truth. Belichick let a lot of people walk that probably helped him win that Super Bowl last year, just like having Revis and, Revis out there by himself and, the other corner, the big corner, what's his name? I forget his name, but Browner. Yeah, Browner out there. That takes a lot of work off those safeties. Because when you got a shutdown guy, those safeties can come up and contend with the run better than they can if they just have some regular corners out there. When you have two of the best in the business out there, the safety can pretty much just run around and make plays. So there'll be a lot less of that because the two safeties will have to make some plays in the past more so than they had to last year. And then also, that Ridley goes from the Patriots. He's gone. He signed with the Jets. So there might be a little kink in their armor, and they might be right for the Philadelphia Eagles to come in. And it's always been a thing where the eventual Super Bowl champions fall off a little bit. So it might work into the Eagles' favor for this time.
Barrett Brooks with us here. The draft coming up. I know the Eagles pick at 20. There's so much Mariota talk here, but ultimately in that first round, what position would you like to see them go after, regardless of Mariota trading up? If they do anything, what position do you want to see them end up with in that first round?
I think the biggest need probably is the receiver position. There's no dynamic players on the outside right now. I don't know. I can't see why they would, and I thought they'd go out and get somebody really in free agency. Miles Austin is not a guy. He's never been a number one receiver. So at this point, Matthews is the number one receiver, and he's really still a rookie. You're still a rookie till your third game of the year. So he still has a lot of maturing to do. I can't see anybody else on the roster. I mean, Cooper's not going to be as dynamic as he was before, especially now that he has to be basically a number two or number three receiver now. So they're going to be leaning a lot on him. I don't know if he can handle it. He dropped a lot of balls last year, really put Foles in some compromising positions with, he dropped a touchdown pass with the 49ers. So they really don't have an impact guy to take the top off the defense either. So I think the biggest thing they need is a big-time receiver that can draw attention and take that safety out the box. When you have something like that, it tends to open up the run a little bit, and especially when you have somebody dynamic like Murray in the backfield, you have to have somebody to help him out in the passing game to open up that run.
Barrett, I know a lot of people, you just talked about safety in the box. I saw Todd McShay's latest mock draft today. He had the Eagles going Landon Collins at number 20. Do you like him as a fit for Philadelphia's defense? They do a lot of single high safety stuff.
Well, I mean, that depends on what you want Jenkins to do. Jenkins can play that single high safety. He won't get beat over the top. He understands that he's the last line of defense, so he'll stay back a little bit, but it tends to handcuff him against being in the box and having a chance to have a lot of interceptions from crossing routes and picking off passes from, slot receivers because he's going to be out of the box instead of in the box. But I tell you what, Collins is definitely an impact player. He definitely exercised the right to be tough back there. He can go up and make some hits. He can handle bigger tight ends off the line as far as man-to-man. He can hold running backs, coming out the backfield. He can cover those guys. So he'll be dynamic in the aspect that he is a tempo setter. He comes with a major attitude. So he can help the Eagles, definitely. So I like him. I wouldn't mind picking him up. And I can tell you what, Todd's a smart guy. He knows a little more than I knew about the total draft just because he's concentrated on it so much. But man, I like Landon Collins. I actually produced 3 of his games last year. I did 3 Alabama games for ESPN last year.
Very cool. Barrett Brooks, of course. Check him out on the new Breakfast on Broad on the Comcast channel. It's on 6 to 8. They replay it. It seems like all day long. You can just see Barrett's face on TV. It seems like every minute of the day. You're like all over the place, man. I can't get away from you now.
B.O.B., baby. Breakfast on Broad, 6 to 8, Monday through Friday. Comcast does work at TCN.
All right, brother. We'll talk to you, and I'll see you next Saturday, man.
I'll see you next Saturday, bro.